It is still this morning on ITV, bringing us to another discussion segment, same as Iharo Atta and Honorable Ebenezer had, assessing the speech of President Muhammadu Buhari at the 72nd United Nations General Assembly. Of course, quite a lot is said, especially when you look at democracy, what Africa is doing when it comes to democracy, the issue of free, fair, and credible elections. Of course, that he stressed. And to look at this aspect of that comment, I have with me a lawmaker, is a former House of Rep member representing Igabi Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. He's also a legal practitioner. He's based here in Abuja. Honorable Barrister Ibrahim Bello. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here. Morning.
Yeah, I know you actually spent time in following what their president said at the UN General Assembly, 12-minute, 56-second speech. The area that he talks about democracy, I know you are one lover of democracy. As a result of democracy, you're able to represent your people of Igabi Federal Constituency of Kaduna State, and well, your record is still there.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to that aspect of, entrenching the role of democracy in Africa, where do you stand looking at the comment of President Muhammadu Buhari?
Yes, thank you very much. Viewers, good morning. It's my pleasure to be here once again, so that we can appreciate, discuss, the wonderful, intelligent speech made by our able President Muhammadu Buhari. We are so proud of that. Where the media, speculations that he was giving, he had his speech of almost 17 minutes, but the 12 something second minute he had is so sufficient. We're happy with that. Even the whole Africa was part of that speech, because it touched the mind of so many Africans, So, you see, in democracy, Nigeria, or most of the African, continent, emulate the democracy of America. And when you calculate their own, you're talking about hundreds of years back. But in Nigerian democracy, we're talking about 16, 17. So definitely, there must be issues and things must start from somewhere. But it's just, we thank God that from 1999 to date, we've been managing our democracy, and at the same time, we have not had any experience of coup d'etat or any interception by any other means. So we thank God, and things, is progressing. We're integrating. And if you look at the speech very well, he mentioned that with the Africans, he affirmed the fact that we are really into democracy. And that means a lot, because he's a retired general. The white people are looking at him, as somebody who's a, dictator, even though he has a kind of his honesty, his integrity, he's a kind of different person among most of African leaders we have had presently. But notwithstanding, for somebody to make that kind of speech in the presence of the world, that we, the Africans, especially the Nigerians, and we're into democracy and we're firm on it. So I'm so happy with that statement.
Okay, now let's also look at another aspect of that speech, where he talked about the fact that there have been, let me read through it, through our individual national efforts, state institutions are being strengthened to promote accountability and to combat corruption and asset recovery. These can be achieved through international community cooperating and providing critical assistance and material support. Now, it's key. Everyone, of course, expects that President Muhammadu Buhari at the 72nd UN General Assembly will talk about the fact that corruption is still eating Africa, into its bone marrow.
Yes.
And he made it clear. Issue of corruption, issue of asset recovery, the need for international community to support.
Yes. Thank you very much. You see, that is the beauty of what he has started before. You see, it's within the APC administration. Some campaign promises which has been made, which one of the cardinals is fighting corruption. And we know very well, fighting corruption, corruption must fight back. If not that we have somebody like President Muhammadu Buhari going to this kind of challenge, it's not be easy because he's not the only president. That is one. And secondly, before, if you look at for the first 6 months, President Muhammadu Buhari has gone from so many countries, in part to the extent that even the media, so many people want to start criticizing why he's even travel out of the country. It's for the part to, because when this money is taken away from this country, it's sitting somewhere in diaspora.
Of course.
So he has to go there and lobby. I talk to these people about how we found ourselves, how some of our people were able to loot our treasury, and now they are custodian of that. So he was there separately to the extent that people started making a lot of critics. So now that's why when he pays the whole world yesterday, we're able to tell them, we have a lot of machinery. The government is doing everything possible to fight corruption. But the fact is that we are custodian of the loot of our loots. So we want integration, we want development. You have to cooperate with us. Bring back this our money. Because from all this while we're talking about the corporate, these people are in custody of our money. And we're not expecting any interest in return. Even if this amount of money is returning, we're talking about percentage. Not even the total amount of money being stolen out of this country. Not even talking about the profit. The profit we're expecting. Supposing £1 million has been stolen and taken up there, maybe it has grown up maybe to like,
of course it has
2 to 3 million. Maybe $500,000 will be returned. So that's cheating there. That's a kind of cheating.
But do you think we can blame them, or why do you think we should blame them?
They are collaborators.
They didn't ask
we have
for
to
this
blame
money.
them. We have to blame them.
They didn't ask for this money.
Yes, but
we took the money ourselves.
Is it their money? No, is it their money? Is it their money? It's not their money.
We took the money.
Let me tell you,
and
it's not their money.
They put it in their bank.
It is not their money, and there's not any demon among these looters that fly away and when deposit amount of money without following some of their financial processes in keeping that amount of money. So they're collaborators. They know very well because they've been doing it for how many years? Is this only during this Buhari administration we discovered that there's a lot of looting and their custodians? This has been happening since even before 1999.
So what step have we taken to have this money?
One of the fundamentals is let's have a kind of a dynamic leadership, fighting of corruption, a president of concern, somebody like President Muhammadu Buhari who has gone extra mile, visiting all these countries, talking to these people, their leadership, bringing back to this country their promises and what have you, and are taking this matter before the United Nations. That look, we have been doing these things. I've been going to so many countries, but that it's not profitable. These people are not cooperating with us. That's what it simply means. You are not cooperating. Our people have been stealing our money, and your custodians. So help us. Since the whole world is against corruption. Of course, that's my perception. That's the way I look at it. So the only way he has to use his wisdom, he has to use his own experience to enlighten these people at that juncture. It's a serious statement that you are in custody of our loot.
Okay, if you have been begging for all these years and you're not getting results, what other thing do you think you should do?
You cannot stop that. You have to continue because we're progressing. Some of the countries, they are doing everything to make sure that this amount is returned to this country. But they have their own norms. They have their own processes. It's unlike our own Nigerian laws how we do it. So we want this money to be recovered. In those countries, they have their own way, a manner where if you are returning such kind of loot, the way a money is supposed to be processed. So some of these things is gradual, based on their own norms, on their own law, which differs from our own. So in my own perspective and my own belief is that
we should continue begging.
We have to pursue them. We have to beg them. Yeah, we have to beg because we have no option. If we stop begging, that's their own interest. It energizes the economy. It's their own benefit. We're at the detriment angle. So if we don't beg, what are you talking about? They'll keep mute. And because the cost of that, they have enjoyed this money for how many years? We're talking of billions of dollars. So if we don't beg, if we don't pursue, if we don't make an outcry in a kind of assembly as of yesterday, so what are you talking about? So now if other people don't even understand what is happening between Nigerian loot, Nigerian money, deposit in such countries now, yes, Mr. President has unleashed the whole yesterday.
Then what about assets? What about property owned by Nigerians?
There's so many duties. There's so many
acquired by looted and stolen funds. Those ones too. Why is it difficult for the asset to be released?
There must be difficulties because the laws we have in this country differs from the laws we have where these are people went and purchase those properties. I've said it before. In recovering these assets from those countries, they have their own processes. They have their own legal processes where things can be.
Is it that you are not following the processes?
This government is following.
No matter how
this government has gone extra mile. This is the only government that has gone open to so many countries, making discussions about all this kind of talking about because of anti-corruption crusade, because of the integrity of Mr. President. But the thing I've told you, it can't be done summarily. It can't be done instantly. Why? Because our laws and their laws differ. And since we are the one requesting for this kind of thing, we must comply with our own norms.
You recall prior to 2015 election, some Nigerians were arrested in South Africa because they claimed that they were sent by the Nigerian government to buy weapons to prosecute the insurgent in the north. As we speak, that money is still lying there. Nothing has been done even by the APC government to have that money released.
You see, before the APC government, we have other governments. Why did that government make that kind of...
No, but it just happened...
I know government is
prior
opportunity
to APC's...
But it's prior to the APC administration. But the government at that particular time, all that duty to make sure this money is to return back to the country. There was a lot of gimmicks, there was a lot of suspicion, there was a lot of issues, if you can remember very well about what that particular amount of money talking about. There's kind of words, let me put it pedestrian, that there's so many government officials involved in that, there's so many high personality people in respect of that, there's so many issues you can remember very well. So now, let's not talk about distraction. We're talking about fundamentals. You understand? Now we're pursuing things which we feel there's a reality in it. So now Mr. President has gone extra mile, they have been doing everything possible, and there's a lot of recoveries. It shows that this issue has been enormous. It has been there for a very long time. The issue is, look, fighting crime is not an instant issue. It's a continuous process, even after this administration. As far as there's no mechanism in pursuing this party of corruption, as far as, if there's any lapse, then honestly, it's going to get back, because the corrupt people are fighting back. Otherwise, the way President Muhammadu Buhari has taken the issue of corruption, we're supposed to be more than this at this stage. But there are some people, they're cabals. They're very, very strong. They're in politics, they're in government, they're in every sector talking about. And these people, they're stronger. They are strong more than you expect. They're the people putting all these political issues that you are seeing. They're the actors of even Nigerian politics, because they have money. They have the monopoly. You understand? So their interests must be protected at that kind of illicit manner. So if that's the issue, and the government keep mute without continue fighting the corruption, then it's unfortunately one day if corruption fought back and we could not be able to to succeed over it now, then it's very, very unfortunate.
Now let's also look at this area where he said we shall also cooperate in addressing the growing transactional crime such as forced labor, modern day slavery, human trafficking, and cybercrime. Now, the issue is cooperate, we shall also cooperate. What have we done? What is Nigeria doing to have this thing, addressed here before, of course, it goes to the, doors and windows of international community?
You see, slavery.
We have immigration at border. We have custom at, we have all the security agencies a nation should have. And you still have these things, going out of proportion. What are we doing to address this thing before we, send it to the international community?
You see, this is a worldwide phenomenon. It's everywhere. But in this country, slavery, child trafficking, drug trafficking, all these things, all these vices, it's an offense. It's illegal. And we have agencies that are doing everything possible. Look at what is happening in countries like Libya and some other where Nigerians are returning. You understand that? There are so many things happening in so many other countries, but this not that the government has folded arms. No, the government is doing everything possible, and it's a collective responsibility. In Nigeria, should not fold arms at every quarter, that the government must do everything. We Nigerians have to cooperate with this government. We have to give our own cooperation, give our own kind of contribution at every angle to make sure that the government succeeded. But the thing is, these white people, they are the people the beneficiary of all these things, all these illicit things. The slave, modern day slavery you're talking about, it's not done here in Nigeria. It's the people, the bad eggs among us use the collaboration of some of our security agents at the borders. It's not a lie. We must tell the truth here. So one day, because there's no any demon that will come and carry any Nigerian to about all these European countries to go for any slavery, prostitution, drug trafficking, and what have you. There's no any spirit,
no ghost,
no cost, no any cabal, or no any what the masquerade. Let me put it that way. We're all Nigerians. So now, why do they accept these people? Because they're the beneficiaries. So now, Mr. President has to come has to say this yesterday before them. That look, modern day slavery, trafficking, human slavery, and what have you. You are the beneficiaries. Help us. Yes, but we're tired of what? Because it's we that need money. This dollar we're talking about. We're hungry of dollar in this country. So the agents and some have vulnerables. People are restive. Some people are frustrated even in this country. They are jobless. They can go to school. Some young girls have to go into prostitution because they cannot be taken care of at home. You understand? So now this agent gain that advantage. And it's very important. So Mr. President has to come and tell them clear that look, this is what is happening in my continent. You are the beneficiaries. So he cannot be direct. We're talking about diplomacy. But he has to use his own experience, diplomacy, intellectualism, and what have you, in making that kind of statement. But it simply means, in my own perspective, that look, you are the beneficiary of these our vices. Cooperate with us so that this thing can be controlled. And I'm so happy with that statement because not every Nigerian leader that can go to that kind of seat and make this kind of statement. The person who can reply back is General Murtala Mohammed, if you can remember. When he makes this kind of speech, what happened at last? The people started wanting him because he said the truth. So now President Muhammadu Buhari said the truth because he really hit the nail on his head that this is the predicament of Africa. This is the problem of its on their continent. So you people should cooperate with us, help us so that we can be able to get out of this kind of mess. But do you think they're happy? Some are not happy and they will not stop it. But the thing will continue pushing because we are the one expecting relief assistance from them. So now, in that respect, President Muhammadu Buhari has done his own. The other politicians and stakeholders in this country should give their own quota and their own contribution at every quarter. Make sure that what is the outcry that we have in this country, yes, it's controlled.
The other aspect is where he actually requested that the UN should increase funding when it comes to peacekeeping for several nations that are bedeviled with uprising, of course, the list of course is endless. But the issue is, should we always be at the forefront to demand for increased funding?
Yes, because we don't have any alternative. If you look at Africa, when you talk about Nigeria, about money, then what kind of you don't think about South Africa and the rest.
We are always demanding for money. Always demanding for HIV, we need money. Malaria, we demand for money. Tuberculosis, we ask for money. Why should we always ask for money?
We have to ask of that money because we don't have sufficient. Doesn't matter that Nigeria is rich. If you can remember what Muhammadu Buhari said, Nigeria is not rich; it's poor. And look at what's happening now. When a statesman like Muhammadu Buhari makes a statement, he has his own facts. You understand? But it's only when you follow the fact you can be able to understand what this man is talking about. When you say make this statement like 1 year ago, people are making a lot of noise. Let's see what Muhammadu Buhari said, that this country is poor, we are not rich. But they are talking about billions of naira they are reading in newspapers every day. But for him to make that kind of statement, he knows exactly what he find when he started the responsibility once again to lead this country. One. And second, all these things you are mentioning, the white would have to help us because we are vulnerable in that aspect.
But it appears we are not helping ourselves.
Oh, that is the truth. So that's only if we are helping ourselves, we have that kind of unity. Is one Africa, one voice. The whole African continent, we are helping each other, and we are wealthy enough. Once we want to look for an assistance, we can't go back to slavery days. You understand? But the thing is that we don't have that money. If Nigeria can be bold enough to ask for money, some Africa they cannot do that. They can't even make that kind of attempt. They don't have it. But now we have the money, so we're the voice of Africa, we're the giant of Africa, so Muhammadu Buhari, because of his integrity, and the world listen to him now, so he had to make that kind of pledge. Because when Muhammadu Buhari says something in this world as of today, the world listen. So now it's an opportunity for him to say this. He's speaking the mind of Africans. He spoke the mind of Africans yesterday. So now I'm sure you see what people will do. It's just if you don't make a request, they will not do it, or they will do it politically.
So from all that he has said, how soon do you think that the world will respond to his demand?
Yes.
I'll take that as a last word.
Yeah, very, very, you see, very soon. Because the thing is that when you're not pleading for someone to give an assistance, you cannot compel him. It has to be gradual because he has his own mechanism. He has his own kind of resource. So you are the one we are the one at the receiving end. So now it must be gradual, but I'm happy he was able to express the minds of Africans, the predicament of Africans, what we want them to do for us. And he was able to express to the whole world that they are the people causing problem for with Africans, because they're the beneficiaries of all this kind of illicit things that's happened in this country. So it's he's bold enough to say it's not every Nigerian person that can go to that place and make this kind of statement. I'm so happy I'm so proud of him. It's not easy. Some people just go and drink their tea, make their statement, and come back to this country. But he said the truth.
I must thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
Mahmoud Buhari didn't go there and drink tea like other African leaders. Of course, your word. It has been with former member House of Representatives representing Igabi Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. He's a legal practitioner based here in Abuja, Honorable Barrister Ibrahim Bello. Once again, thanks for coming.
Pleasure.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, it shall be time to look at the role of religious leader in achieving peace in Nigeria. And of course, we already have our guest, Pastor Frank Olagwe, the senior pastor of Vision and Harvest House, is already in the studio. He will come on after this break. Stay with us.